All right. Um, Hello and welcome to the Cinebums podcast. Um, Peace be with you. This is not Matthew. This is not Mark. This is Luke and John. This is the liberal New Testament. But this is also not your mom and dad's Luke and John. This Luke and John does, they get crazy. They go on movie benders, I don't know, John, what are some other crazy things you do?
I mean, that's the main one is the movie benders. You'd
Yeah.
never see Matthew or Mark doing anything like that. We take it easy too, you know. So Matthew and Mark, those are the uptight gospels, those guys.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, gotta bring those Catholic roots like into cinema. The way Scorsese and Schrader did. Um,
yeah, that's what they
yeah.
say. Scorsese and Schrader are like the Luke and Johns of cinema.
Yeah, the
What I heard
Catholic.
at least.
Yeah, and they're not they did so much cocaine as the Catholic boys of cinema. Yeah, talk about a turn. They both wanted to be priests and look at and look at the lives they ended up leading instead. Paul Schrader would have been probably a terrible priest.
Oh yeah, God. Well, he didn't he
Can you imagine
do
if Paul
First
Schrader's
Reformed?
your pastor, like
Yeah,
the existential dread that is filled through the church every day?
yeah. Everyone would leave there with yeah, just devoid of any sort of hope or
Yeah,
optimism for life.
we have no hope or meaning here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember growing up Catholic, you know, and going to church like a couple times a week and uh there's like a part of the mass. I don't remember when, there used to be a time where I knew all of the beats of the mass. Um, but where the priest goes, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Whenever I would say Luke, like the priest would say Luke. Like I have like friends in my class that would like look at me and they'd be like give me like a smug look, like because they're a kid and you still believe like all names, they're all the same people.
Yeah, yeah. That's funny. I just watched Rory Scovel's new special on HBO, and he has some bit about religion in there, and he's like, do we really think that these guys in the Bible had these names like Matt? You think there was a Matt back then hanging out with Jesus? And yeah, he's just like the way he talked about it was so funny, like as if these names were the names of the actual guys in, present day Iraq and
Right. Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Right. Right.
you know, yeah. So he's like, yeah, Matt wrote this letter to the Ephesians or something like that. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah, do people ever like do they like come up to you or when you're talking to them or they meet you and they some people will say, "Oh, Luke, biblical name." Whenever they say that, I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know what the fuck to say.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I was working at the restaurant, and I dropped off some sushi at a table and they were like it was like I think it was Easter and they were like, "Luke, biblical name." These old white women, I'm
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah, they appreciate that. Yeah. I think John is like too much of like the like standard
Yeah.
name
Oh
that
yeah.
I don't really get that because yeah, people don't necessarily think Bible right away. But yeah, I think for some reason, yeah, I feel like Luke for sure, like Luke and Jacob, which is funny. That's both you and your brother's names. I feel like
Yeah,
those
yeah.
people say that like those are like oh
Look,
biblical
I
names
forget who
or
Jacob was
Simon.
in the Bible. Well, Simon is for sure one. Like,
Yeah,
yeah. I
Paul.
forget. Man, the Bible is like I'm trying to like recollect it, but I feel like Jacob was like in that Jesus Christ Superstar, don't they sing that Jacob and Sons or
Oh
something like
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And then Simon was Simon the fisherman? but also there's Simon Peter. So Peter was also
Oh
named
yeah,
Simon.
there was like two Simons. Yeah, Simon Peter, but they're like,
And
yeah,
then
we'll
there was
call you
like,
Peter.
and there was also like Simon the Strong, you know.
I don't remember that. Yeah. I do remember I remember the two Simons, and then it's like, oh, we
You
got
don't
two Simons.
remember because it
Oh,
was
one of
so
them's
long
something
ago. How
else.
could you remember, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like we got to
Like,
call Simon one of these Simons something different. So it was like, okay, Peter. He'll be Peter then.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that's what they
What?
did. Yeah. Yeah. I was about to say you don't meet anyone named Simon nowadays, but we had Simon, your friend, on the show. So that's
Yeah,
not
friend of
true.
the show, Simon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not
He's
true.
the only Simon I think I maybe ever met though.
Yeah, and I would also say this too. I would never trust anybody named Simon, but Simon, your friend, is of course like the nicest guy and has great taste in films, you know. So
Yeah.
can't, he's not a good example, not a good example of the way I'm trying to stereotype Simon,
He's not a
someone named
good
Simon in my
Simon, you
brain.
know.
Yeah, he shouldn't be named Simon.
He's much
That's
more of
the
a Peter.
I think
He
he
should
was
be Simon
named. Yeah,
Peter.
he was named. He wasn't named appropriately. All right, so the agenda for today's show. We're gonna talk a little Maxxine, because that was the big one of the biggest movie events of the summer. I would say it was definitely my most anticipated and a lot of people's. So we're gonna talk
Yeah.
about that. Um, Also, I went on a movie bender on specifically July 2nd, so 2 days before my alcohol bender on the 4th of July, and my patriotism bender, if you will, because you know how much I love this country, John.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I know. Yeah. You're a true
and
patriot.
yes, yes, and I will, hopefully that gives everyone a inspiration on how to deal with the summer heat. Also, I have a little review of A Quiet Place, day one. Uh,
I
and
didn't even
then,
remember there was a Quiet Place movie coming out this year.
right. Well, yeah, of course, John. They're doing A Quiet Place day one, and next year is A Quiet Place day two, and they're going all the way up to, 50, Fast and the Furious style.
Oh my God. Wow. Yeah. That's yeah, good for them. Yeah.
And then we got the good for Jim Halpert,
Yeah, good for
even
Jim.
though he's not a part of this one, and it's the only Quiet Place I've actually seen. Um, okay, and then John, you watched The Monkey Man. Um,
Yes.
and it got you a little inspired about maybe like, going after some people who've wronged you on a personal level.
Yeah, I realize I have yet to really take revenge on my enemies. So we're gonna kind of, talk about how we would take revenge on our enemies and how we're gonna do that. So yeah, Monkey Man was the inspiration for that. So yeah.
What a title.
Yeah.
The Monkey Man. And then transition to the bear, from the Monkey Man to the bear.
Yeah.
I watched The Bear season 3, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. And also, John and I might now have a little, a few ideas on how we might also want to break into the culinary world ourselves. Because this show shows that if it shows anything, it shows that it's not that hard and that just about anybody can do it. Um, and then at the end, I have this, I have like a confession. I have had this vacation that I've been dying to go on, and I really need someone to go on it with me. So I'm hoping that, John, you have availability in your schedule coming up, so you can go with me on this magnificent trip that I've been just,
Hmm.
dying to go on because I work hard and I want to get away, and I need like a really good friend to join me on a sort of bro adventure that I will tell you about towards the end of the show.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Yeah, I'm intrigued.
But already, no.
But
Tell
probably
me
not.
about
Yeah.
tell me about it anyways, though. Okay. Maxine. Um, the movie event of the summer. Ty West, Mia Goth, horror trilogy. When did you see this, John? And where did you see it?
Yeah, so I saw Maxine. This would have been July 5th, day after the holiday. The day it came out, actually,
Nice.
at Alamo Draft House.
Oh, cool. I've
Yeah.
missed that place. I've been meaning to go back.
Yeah, what I love about Alamo Draft House too is when you go, like I actually want to get there kind of early because they always have great instead of like I don't know, you go to some of these theaters and it's like Maria Menounos and here's like
Yeah,
let's talk to all these
yeah,
celebs. And it's so like boring and
yeah. Well, and
corny
that
and
Maria Menounos is actually like the good version of that, I think, too.
yeah, I mean she's not bad, you know. It's more so the format than it is her. Um but yeah, it's like I know they have like this movie thing.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. But Alamo Drafthouse, they have like interesting like programming, whatever, beforehand. Like when I saw
Hmm.
Challengers, they had all these like funny and old like tennis clips that they were showing. Like they were showing a
Oh,
tennis
cool,
sketch from Tim and Eric and
cool.
some other like old school like tennis things that were fun. So it's and it always has to relate to the movie that they're going to show. So I love those like intro videos. And for Maxine, I was kind of looking forward to like some cool like 80s thing and maybe we didn't get there in time, but they showed uh like a recap of X and Pearl that was actually super helpful because there's
Yeah,
details that come up in Maxine that I
yeah.
didn't really remember if it weren't for this
Right,
like recap video they
right.
had. Um, so yeah, I like that too. Like that's
Yeah,
way more interesting and it gets me like wanting to like be in my seat and like checking out their programming uh because it's not
yeah,
just like
yeah,
see what's coming up in Marvel's Wolverine versus Deadpool or whatever. And then
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
like
yeah.
some corny interview with Ryan Reynolds
The
and
Ryan Reynolds, the Ryan Reynolds Wolverine ad,
yeah.
that I've seen now like 5 times, and it's like I know every beat to it, and like
Hmm.
the only people who laugh at it are like the really nerdy Marvel fans in the like room, or like the people who are just generally annoying moviegoers anyways, and they laugh like it's like the funniest thing. It's like the worst.
Oh yeah. I was actually at a theater one time. I feel like this was in high school or something, and there were these like older nerdy guys ahead of me, and one of them just kept laughing at the trailers uh like way too loud, and it was kind of annoying. And at one, it was whatever movie it was. Jeff Goldblum is in it, and this is the
Okay.
trailer, and he just says something like, "Oh, that's ill-advised" or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
this guy starts like he's the only one in the theater that just like starts cracking up. And his all his friends like look at him and one of them goes, "Dude, you gotta chill. That's not even funny." And I was like, "Oh, thank God." Thank God one of his friends said that. Yeah. I always remember that because it was like a beautiful moment of like someone's being too much and then I'm not gonna say anything, but
Yeah,
thankfully
it's
someone else
it's the
there.
friend's job to
Yeah,
control him,
exactly.
his excitement.
Yes.
Um yeah, it gives me flashbacks. I remember seeing Deadpool in theaters, and um I saw Deadpool twice at the time because I did really like it. Um I think I was still drinking some Marvel Kool-Aid, but even though I liked Deadpool at the time, and I did think it was, like I did enjoy the quick-wittedness of it, and like
Same,
thought it
yeah.
was clever. I just remember there were other guys in the theater that yeah, you know, were just way too into it, even though I was into it too. Like they were way too into it, and I was like, I was like, oh, these guys are the worst. These um like just I don't know, like all the comic book nerds that come out for it, it's like
Yeah.
they don't watch any, like this is their Um, this is their comedy. Oh, and also for Maxine, I saw Maxine and I had the most annoying, probably like theater in a while, actually,
Wow. Mm.
which is surprising. I didn't expect that. Because I always have kind of looked at these movies as more a little more cult than mainstream. So the fact that like there was like a whole row of really annoying people in the theater was just
Yeah.
unexpected.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing when when you get a movie that's like just gonna attract uh I guess even just like general moviegoers. Like I feel like this was like marketed enough that it'll get people who aren't even who maybe haven't even seen like X or Pearl or aren't just like I don't know going to see it for because it's like a hip A24 movie. They just want to go see like a
Mhm.
horror movie. You get like the general audience that just goes and yeah, they don't treat it with
Yeah.
respect, you know.
Yeah.
It's a place of respect.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I do love Alamo Draft House. Like I just feel I've only been there one time, but like everything about it, um I took it in and I was like, this is a place where you can really just get lost into the movie you're seeing, and it feels like it is a place of respect. And if say I was gonna like go somewhere and want to see multiple movies, I feel like that's like the most comfy and kind of
Yeah.
hidden away place from the world to do that. Yeah,
Yeah, it feels like a good escape and everything too. And I
yeah,
remember I think it might have been like Danny McBride recently said something about how he hates the movie theaters now that have like that serve you like food and
right.
beer and stuff because then he was like you're gonna go to the bathroom all the time, you're gonna be distracted and everything. But it's like people have already been drinking like sodas and eating
Yeah,
popcorn.
that's always been a staple. Yeah.
That's eating and drinking has always been a part of
Yeah, they're just trying to
movies.
like step it up, I guess, a notch.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally
Yeah,
could just like hang out at Alamo Draft House and catch a couple movies and
yeah. What's better? And what's
get
better
lunch and
than
dinner.
watching movies and having IPAs, double,
IPAs with your boys. Yeah.
double New England hazy IPAs that will make you melt in the seat as you watch the movie.
Yeah, that's all I'm about is just getting a couple IPAs in me and watching Maxine, you know. That's
But yeah, I mean, I think the general takeaway from Maxine is I think like people like are all in the middle of it, and about Maxine, maybe more in the middle, and some are maybe very disappointed. I like checked reviews before I had seen it, and so
hmm
I knew not to go in with like such high expectations.
yeah.
Um, it still is unfortunate because I remember seeing the trailer for this and I'm getting like, goosebumps, and I'm, the first two are perfection, so you kind of want uh the third one to be as special. Not that it's still not cool that something like this is out and that it got a bigger budget and whatnot, but you wish that it was stronger, I think.
Yeah, yeah. That I think yeah, definitely didn't live up to expectations that you see in the trailer, which I would also say is similar to another movie that I'll bring up this episode that we teased in the beginning, but um I still found it to be like entertaining and um I'll definitely go back to it, but it wasn't I don't think it paid off as well as I hoped it would. And
Yeah.
even too, not to get into spoilers if you haven't seen it yet, but I think the ending sort of reveal wasn't as it didn't hit as hard as I hoped it would. Um,
Right.
and there's even a detail, like I mentioned before, like Alamo Drafthouse showed like a recap of X and Pearl. There's a detail that I didn't even remember from that ties into this
Oh,
reveal.
really?
I didn't remember
Oh, I
until
want to
I
know.
saw
I
the
want to see
recap.
that now. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, because and if I hadn't seen that before the movie, I probably would have been a little confused. Um, Even though I think Ty West said that he wanted to make three movies that were all connected, but you didn't need to see one to like,
Mhm.
enjoy. You didn't need to
Right.
see all of them to enjoy one individually. But
Yeah.
I do think there was subtle things with Maxine that it would be helpful. Yeah, it wouldn't be as easy to understand if you hadn't seen X and Pearl.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because otherwise, it's a very more baseline level story.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I think it like suffered a little bit from the fact that like X and Pearl are far simpler, and the fact that there's like more characters, more storylines in Maxine, it suffers from that when especially Pearl especially is just able to like hone in on like the what it's doing, and be really
Hmm.
great at it. When I think like Maxine's like overly ambitious, maybe.
It felt a little more flat than it wasn't
Yeah,
as, yeah,
yeah,
it didn't hit as hard as I was expecting.
yeah. And
And
there's
especially
times where
with
I
the
would even say
beginning
I'm
too.
like kind of bored, actually. Like, where I was
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, I was like, I'm a little like kind of bored, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate too.
Yeah, it felt like it was like really building up to something more than it turned out to be, I think, too. Um,
Yeah.
just that whole scene where she's like nailing the audition and then is like, I just fucking nailed that, and then
Yeah.
drives away. It's like, all
It's a
right, this is gonna be
it's a
fun, you know?
perfect impression here.
Which then too, Mia Goth, I think, is really I mean, she's super entertaining. It's so hard to like she's such an interesting looking person that it's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
hard to not just like be fixated on her.
I just fucking nailed
I just
that.
fucking nailed that.
But still cool to exist.
Yeah.
Still cool um that it exists. The once upon a time in Hollywood vibes,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it kind of intertwined with a real serial killer story that was going on at that
Yeah.
time. Um,
Yeah. But you have a game inspired by Maxine.
yes, I have a game, and I do after the game, I do have a quick movie bender also along the lines of Maxine that I
Okay.
can go into.
Yeah. Also, and just to inform people, I do not know this game, so I don't know what I'm getting into here. Um,
Yes,
but
this is
knowing John, it's a probably pretty sick game.
oh, this will be just sick, like borderline illegal. No, so I was thinking, like Maxine Minx, that's like her porn name, like her
Yeah.
stage name. And I was thinking of like I think I was maybe watching something else where they had like a mafia guy and he has like a nickname too. And I was just thinking about all these like mafia guys also kind of have like stage names. They have like nicknames, but they kind of
Yeah.
sound like they kind of sound funny, like they could be like porn names or
Porn.
something. So
Like
the game,
Joey. Well, this is an actor, Joey Pants, or like,
Joey Pants, Big Pussy,
yeah, Big Pussy.
Johnny Sack,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Sopranos,
yeah.
has some.
Yeah, they're all very sex oriented.
So the game is porn star or mafia guy. And so
Oh, that's good. That's
I've got
good.
some porn names and some mafia names, and you got to
Nice.
tell me whether
Okay.
it's a porn. Some of them will be easy, most of them will be easy, I think. But yeah, we'll see.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so yeah, porn, and in post maybe I'll put pictures of these people so you can
Yeah,
see
yeah,
them
yeah,
more.
yeah, that's good.
But yeah, okay. First one we'll start off with is Johnny Sausage. Porn name or
Gonna go porn.
mafia name?
I'm gonna go porn.
That's Mafia. Mafia, Johnny Sausage.
It's hard because you want to like, you want to be not like wrong, so you're thinking, oh, it would definitely be the other one. But they're both like,
Yeah, it could be easy to overthink it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, Joey Bang Bang.
Joey Bang Bang. Joey Bang Bang. I'll go porn again.
That's also Mafia.
Joey Bang Bang.
Joey Bang Bang. Yeah.
Joey Bang Bang. There was Joey Bang Bang. There was Johnny Sausage.
Johnny Sausage, Joey Bang Bang. You know, they ran those streets in those days.
Johnny Sausage over on Cicero.
Yeah. All right, this one. Okay, here's another one. This might seem like a trick one, but Porno Mike.
Mafia.
That is Mafia. Yeah, yeah. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
Porno Mike.
Porno Mike. Okay, Wesley Pipes.
I'll go Mafia.
That's porn.
All right.
Wow, maybe these are harder than I thought. Yeah.
Wesley Pipes. I just feel like I'm just kind of seeing the the overlap of the names, and I just really can see them for both equally. So that's why it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, they could totally work for.
This
for
is like
either.
a pure guessing game, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Lolo Ferrari.
Lolo Ferrari. I'll go porn.
That's porn. Right, yeah.
Nice.
I think when I saw her, it said she had the largest breast implants in history. She might have the record for that.
Oh, Google.
So definitely include a
Thank God
picture
I
of
have
that.
Google right here.
Yeah. Now everybody's switching off the episode and going to their Google machine.
Kim Kardashian. Mafia, definitely.
Yeah, definitely Mafia. Yeah, that's a different kind of Mafia.
The Armenian Mafia.
Yeah. Okay, what do we have next? Junior Lollipops.
I'm gonna go Mafia.
Mafia, that's
Junior
correct.
Lollipop.
Junior
Your
Lollipops. Mafia. Yeah. All right. Vinny Gorgeous.
Vinny Gorgeous. Mafia.
Mafia, that's right. Yes.
Jimmy Two Times in Goodfellas is like a porn name. Like
Jimmy Two Times. Oh yeah, that would have been a good one. Yeah,
Jimmy Two Times.
I did put this one in here. Maybe I don't know if you remember. Johnny Tight Lips. This is a fictional guy, but
you made him up.
No, he's in a show.
Oh, I'm gonna go with Mafia.
He's Mafia. Yeah, he's in The Simpsons and Fat Tony's.
Oh,
He's like the guy. He's like Johnny Tight Lips. What happened here? Whatever. And he's like, I'm not saying nothing. Like that's every time they like. Ask
that's his.
him
Yeah, that's his
always,
calling. Yeah.
All right, we just got a few more. John Buttman Stagliano.
Wow, man, I didn't know how interested I was in this topic. This is quite a rabbit hole we've gone down. I'll go with the the Mafia again.
That's porn.
That
was a good one too, because he had like an Italian. His actual name is like Italian.
Yeah.
And then his nickname is Buttman, so you could just. It definitely sounds more Mafia. That one's tough.
These names are so good. Like Italian names are so like good,
Oh yeah.
Then like our, me and you have these like really boring German names.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
We can't have like cool nicknames that go along with, like in our, I don't know, like Stagliano. Like that's such a.
Yeah, it's so I love Stagliano, Maltasanti, like
Maltasanti. Yeah, they're
like
fun.
That.
Yeah. Here's another one. Benjamin Horsecock Ruggiero.
Ruggiero got a horse cock. Um, I'll go porn.
Mafia.
Ah, see, I was
Mafia.
about to say Mafia,
Yeah.
but then I pivoted at the last second.
All right, we just got two more here.
These are all real guys. Like you're gonna put up the photos.
There might not
And
be
then
photos for everyone, but these are all I feel like they were verified sources that had like there was all they all came from like articles about
wonder if we'd,
Mafia or
I
something
wonder
like
if
that.
we'd get in trouble if we just put random Italian faces to each
Yeah.
name.
Okay, the last two. Uh Tony Balls.
Um, Mafia.
Mafia. That's right. And then for the last one, Long Dong Silver.
Long tongues.
I almost couldn't say it. Long Dong Silver.
Porn.
That's porn. Yeah. Ah, nicely done. That was it. That was not an easy game.
Man, if
Yeah.
this was the ACT test, I think I would have gotten into Harvard. That was a great game, John.
Yeah, did,
Uh,
yeah.
highlight of my week. Um,
Glad to hear it. It was fun to put together. Yeah.
wrapping up Maxxine. And just the whole topic, since we're on the topic of porn. Um, that's I was like thinking about something. Like I remember in my you know, earlier days, when I would tell people, like I worked at a bar in Chicago, and I would tell people at the bar, um, I'm like, oh yeah, what do you do? What do you I'm like, yeah, I do film stuff. I would always say I do film stuff. And like that was like a thing I told people for a while that I'm doing. Yeah, I'm doing film stuff or like video stuff or whatever. And they would always respond like there would always be this guy at the bar who'd always be like, "Oh yeah, shooting porn again?" Like that was always what he said. And this kept like coming back. Um, like I would be on, I'm pretty sure I'd be on like big productions, as like a PA or something like that, or like being like a lockdown PA or something, and being like, oh yeah, you guys we're filming something, and like to like pedestrians so they don't walk down this crosswalk, and they'd be like, oh yeah, what you guys shooting porn? And it's like
What?
it's been like a recurring thing through my whole time, trying to work in the film industry, that whenever I tell
Yeah.
somebody, yeah, we're gonna be shooting some, and it's always that person always has that thought.
Dude, that's so funny you say that too, because my first job out of college was at this technology company in Iowa, and I was there uh to do video and just like all like the creative production side of things, like video and design and like website stuff. And first day there, one of the guys, I like shared an office with my boss too, and one of the guys comes and like my boss introduces me, and then he's like, "Oh, is this the guy you brought in to film your porn now?" Or something like that. And then I was like, "What the f-"
Yeah,
like
yeah, for some reason
like that same thing. Yeah, why is that what everybody
people
go
who don't
to?
have anything to do with filming anything, or they their joke is always porn for filming. It's
Yeah.
weird that that's what they think of.
Yeah.
Of course, it's always like a guy too that says
Oh,
it.
always. Yeah. Yeah.
It's never been just like a girl on the street filming porn.
Yeah. No, there's like an epidemic for like eternity of guys trying to be funny by making, the same
Yeah.
joke that
Yeah.
has been
It
made a
just
million
shows
times,
how like limited the male brain can be.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh, all right, but yeah, I guess that's Maxine. Next order of business is there's always been these spells, say, where, because despite being a Cinebum, I do work pretty hard on a number of things. And I also I tend to work myself into exhaustion. Um, and so when I work myself into exhaustion, I usually am like that guy who's like, okay, nothing, I'm really closed off. I'm like, okay, nothing can come into this, like, into my, into my moment now. I must just lay on the couch and I must just binge uh television all day. And that is how I
Mhm.
recover until my body recovers from all the things that I do. And so I needed to do that on July 2nd. I woke up and I was just like, I started the day with a movie at like 8 a.m. and I just kept going all the day. So I had what we call here a good old fashioned movie bender. So here is what I watched. Um, I watched um, I watched American Movie first,
Nice.
which was a movie that you've been telling me to watch for a little while now, and I've felt like it took too long to get to. Um, and yeah, I really fucking liked it. And like just to go off of everything you've said about it in the past, of like you kind of summarized perfectly what it was whenever you talked about it. I love the way the main guy, this guy talks, the filmmaker, and
I
just
know, yeah.
his never-ending rambling. And I actually think, like, despite the fact that it kind of is about like a delusional person, and some people would even maybe call him like a loser or something like that. I think he's actually like a fantastic and engaging speaker when he's in this documentary. Like, give him like, you know, studio walls, a different outfit. You could buy that he's like an actual big director. It's just that he's the setting of where he is and the fact that he's just not in the right place for what he
Mhm.
wants to be is just, I think, the shame of it, because you can kind of see elements of like, oh, this guy could be like he could be a director. He's got a vision, he's works hard, he's crazy, he's a great speaker. He's just in rural Wisconsin where like that doesn't make any sense to be that at all. um
Yeah.
yeah, and I found it, yeah, I loved it. I thought it was everyone in this, like all the people are so engaging. And It's just so funny for him to like just listening to him talk, and he's like, "Yeah, that's a film. Northwestern's a film we shot on 35 millimeter," and he's just like so all in on this, and he's like referencing like all these films and stuff like that. Uh, yeah, and it definitely did make me like look at myself a lot of times too, and be like, "Oh man, like how similar am I to this guy?" And
Yeah.
I think all people who are like, say, trying to work in show business or entertainment or do stuff like that is should really have look at this film and like that have it bring them that sort of self-awareness. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he really, I think it's just the thing about him too. He's just so passionate about it. And he
Yeah.
has like strong point of view on his way and how he wants to do things. And that is what like makes it a really good documentary and really, I don't know, keeps you entertained is because he's such a good talker and
Yeah.
how he's just so into it to an insane degree, and that is entertaining. Like if he was just like, yeah, this I don't know, it probably won't go anywhere, maybe I'll just listen to my brother who says I should just work at a factory or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like he has like an uphill battle dealing with the people he's around and the setting he's in, while
Yeah.
he has this completely different um mindset. And then just the people around him too that are such characters like his buddy Mike.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I'm never doing drugs or alcohol again. That's for sure.
What an amazing guy. Yeah. And I love that scene too. It makes me feel like fond about Midwestern people too, and just kind of the
Yeah.
simplicity of their lives. So like
Right.
Mike, he's like, "Why do you got such a big smile on your face, Mike?" And he's like, "I don't know." And then they cut to him talking. And he's like, "I just won
Yeah.
$50 on
$50
a
from
scratch
the,
off, but I don't want
yeah.
them
Yeah.
guys to know because then they'll ask me for money." It's like such like a sweet, like simple,
Yeah.
funny thing.
Yeah, and they're just like watching the Packers. They're watching the Packers like win the Super Bowl, and yeah, it's very, I mean, yeah, Midwesterners, we can relate, you know what I mean? Like
hmm
everything your wants, life is very simple back there. Even in, Chicago, it's like this, it's the same in a way.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think it's just like a good um I don't know, it's nice to see someone like really working towards some like creative passion without it being
Yeah.
like I just want to be like famous in the movies and like he could have
Yeah. Yeah.
he could have just like moved to LA and just
Yeah,
tried to be
it's
like an
not
actor or
Maxine where
something.
she's like moving out there and she's got like trying to take it by storm or something like that. He's just like he's clearly stuck there,
hmm
and he's just doesn't care. Like it's clearly an environment that would probably discourage you against continuing to make movies where you're gonna quit for sure. And like he's got all those debts and stuff like that. And he's just continuing to do it. Like it's like 9 years later, and like he kind of resumes production on his feature film. And what's especially crazy is like this is in the kind of, it's made during the analog era. So they're cutting the film like old school, and
Yeah.
they're in Wisconsin. And it's like that's just fucking crazy that that he's able to find people that are just like willing to do it. And it also reminds me of being in Illinois, and it's just not like uh I always just found it interesting, like when I would work on a film or something like that, or some, and you would see, like I worked on one film which was actually like a war movie, and I think I've told you about this a little bit. I worked on this like trailer for a war movie filmed in like a small town in Illinois, like just outside of Rockford,
At that
and
castle thing,
yeah,
was
yeah,
it?
exactly,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and the people who came out for it, you're just seeing all these people who came out to help, and you're like, I don't know. You're just like it's like as if they're stepping from outside of behind a curtain. You didn't know all these people existed. Like people like cinematographers like by small town Illinois, people who have these skills, and it's like, what are you using them for? You're here. Stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
remember there being guys who were like just there to help. Like guys were like PAs, and they had like um those like small town Southern Illinois accents and stuff like that. And I was talking to this one guy, he's like, I'm just here to help, the movie and stuff like that. And I'm just like, what the hell? It was just so weird. And there was like there's one guy who's actually they flew out a actual big actor from Hollywood to be in the movie, and that's like a big selling point. And I remember picking him up and him up and talking to him. I picked him up from O'Hare. I'm talking to him in the car, and you could tell he just like doesn't want to be there, but
Ugh.
it's like a payday for him, and for some reason he's attached to it. Um, and it was just so interesting to see these like him what like just this world of like people who like want to make movies in not any major area, like kind of like in American movie, and um it being to them the most like the biggest deal, I guess. And
Yeah, yeah.
there were people who just came to watch. It was just really, it's just wild.
Yeah. And I mean Mark in the in American movie, he's so like professional about everything too. And like even managing people, like he takes it really seriously. He's not just like, oh, I just want to like make movies with my friends or like yeah, like he cares about the like the process
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
craft of it all. And
Yeah, yeah. There's like one part where he's just like staring at one shot, and the way they like shot, he's like, look at that. Look at that. Looks great. Just like the craft of like the way he could the shot that he constructed basically.
yeah. Yeah,
And
no,
it's
I
like something
really
he
love
shot
that.
like 5 years ago or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's a movie about like sticking with your dreams, but also about how like dreams can kind of like you can kind of, I don't know, you can die off with your dreams as well and like be in this delusional world.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's a good look into like too how um I don't know, like there are these like smaller communities, probably not just the Midwest, but like the South and
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
anywhere in the country too, where you have a lot of pushback from the people who don't have these big ambitions and um
Right.
like it's nice like he doesn't get discouraged by his entire family
Right.
being like concerned because they think it's like a waste of time and
Yeah.
um
It's
but
more
even
like it's sweeter that they're like semi-supportive there,
yeah
I guess.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah yeah I'm glad
But
you watched it.
that the one scene where I forget the line that he has the old man repeat over and over again.
Yeah
Jesus loves you or something like that. I don't
yeah
know.
it's something like that yeah yeah
That
I
scene's
can't remember
wild. Yeah.
yeah and it's how he's talking to him too he's like he's being so I don't know, encouraging. That's where he's really taking it seriously as a director. Like he's wanting to
Right.
get the best out of his actors, but his actors are just some old
People.
guy in Wisconsin who's
Yeah, it's a guy
talking.
who can barely speak.
Yeah. He has no idea what he's doing there. He's just, yeah, he's using anyone that will be willing to help him, and he's treating them like they're an actor, and he's trying to get the best out of them. But yeah, these aren't like professionals that he's dealing with. Yeah.
So yeah, that's American movie. And also I want to preface this too, because with traditionally with a movie bender, um like it's a movie bender for a reason. Because we do drink during these movie benders as well. There it's not like a metaphor for like uh we're not just comparing movies to actual benders. It's not just binge watching movies to actual benders. Like we actually are going on a bender. So I'm going to tell you like for each movie what I was drinking, and to honor Mike, I was drinking vodka during American movie
Nice.
because, and as you know, like especially if you're going to drink at 8 in the morning, you don't want people to smell it on you. So that's why it was also perfect that I drink vodka. So I drank vodka during American movies, specifically Seagram's, my
Oh,
favorite.
wow.
Seagram. Yeah, my favorite. Seagram's Cherry. Okay. So that's American movie. The next movie I watched was Interstellar, um, which is of course, a
Hmm.
rewatch. uh, not checking it out for the first time. Um, Yeah, I wanted to get back watching some old Nolan movies because of Oppenheimer, and also my girlfriend had never seen Interstellar, so she wanted to watch it. And
Hmm.
this was around 11 a.m. or noonish when we started it, and she's just kind of starting her day. Um, I'm deep into my day because I've already, watched American movie and drank a fifth of vodka. But so we're very different wavelengths. But and Interstellar is kind of a weird movie, I think, a crazy movie to start your day with, because
Yeah,
especially if you've never
really.
seen it before, because on one level it's very emotional, and on another level it's very confusing. So I was watching her, and she was like crying and her head hurt because she's trying to figure out what the fuck's going on as they're doing this interstellar travel. It's like really a movie that like is like heavy and complicated and can I think it's amazing, but I also can see if someone's like, oh, that was too much, to watch.
Yeah, yeah.
And it is at times too much to watch. So that's why, John, to make it easier, I drank a little gin with Interstellar because I think that's,
Oh,
brings it down a little bit. So I started my movie bender with two like the clear alcohols just because,
yeah.
get them out of the way. And you know, since you can never drink gin alone, if you do, I don't know how how the fuck you do. Oh, and by the way, this was also I went with Seagram's gin as well.
Oh,
And
wow.
I
Big
drank
Seagram's Day.
yeah, I drank gin and juice. Uh yeah, while I watched
Nice. Yeah.
Interstellar. And that helped ease myself into, the chaos of this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking genius, man. All right, and then after Interstellar, it's afternoon, so I went the documentary route, and I watched a documentary I'm very, very late on, a very famous documentary called Pumpin' Iron,
Hmm.
where it's showing Arnold Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno go at it in the bodybuilding competition. I thought Pumping Iron always was like an origin story of like Arnold from Austria. It's actually just like follows this competition mainly. But it did make me want to work out. Uh, and I will do that one day after watching Pumping Iron. Um, and Pumping Iron, it's a man's movie, so I wanted to feel like a man. Um, so along with wanting to work out, I drank, good old whiskey during Pumping
Mm,
Iron. Um, and
good
what's
choice.
more
Yeah.
classic of a good choice?
Yeah.
What's more classic of a whiskey than Jack Daniels, the original, the black label.
Can't go
Um,
wrong.
yeah, can't go wrong. And, but I didn't just drink it straight, of course. I drank it on the rocks. And, that helped fuel. There's something about whiskey that meshes with, the testosterone in a man. And
Oh,
I was
yeah.
able to be like, watch um, this bodybuilding competition with that, Jack Daniels on the rocks. And I got, I was like, oh, look at the glutes, man. Look at him flex his back. And I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
This is why we pay rent for apartments, John, is to have days like what I'm describing to you now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's basically the whole point is so you can have your escape into these benders.
Exactly. So,
As a man, that's what
I
you
mean,
that's what you need.
I work hard, so you could fucking judge me if you want,
Yeah.
or you could fuck right off. All right. So then I ended my bender with this is this movie is actually a 2024 Netflix movie
Hmm.
called A Family Affair. All right.
Never even
Um
heard of this.
yeah, I know I saw it on Netflix and it is only being this deep into a bunch of drinks where you see a movie on Netflix and you're like, yeah, I'll watch that. Just a Netflix produced movie.
Yeah.
Did you watch The Idea of You, John? The Anne
No.
Hathaway like romance movie on Amazon where she like falls for the like
Oh, no.
the
Carly
kind of
watched that
the
though,
boy
and
band guy. Okay. So I
she
watched
told me
that.
about it, but I haven't seen it. Yeah.
Oh, you should watch it, John,
Okay.
because
I'm listening.
you should watch it because they mention it a number of times that she lives in Silver Lake in the movie. They
Uh,
won't they won't stop talking about it, and that is where you're going to be visiting in September. So you get a little preview, to get
my
you
future
hyped for
home.
your yeah, to get you hyped for your vacation. I'm never leaving here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the reason I bring up the idea of you is because it's almost Netflix and Amazon decided to make the same movie with a family affair and the idea of you because both follow kind of an older older mom that falls for like a younger hunk who's a star, who's like in this world, the world of the movie famous.
Hmm.
In the idea of you, it's Anne Hathaway. In A Family Affair, it's Zac Efron and Nicole Kidman. And I think right off the bat, um, let me know if you agree. I think that's an immediately better duo that I want to see, Zac Efron and Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, wait, what was the first one again? Anne Hathaway and who?
I don't even know the guy's name.
Okay.
Yeah, but like he might be known to some people. Maybe we should bring that up since we're
Idea of
like
you.
comparing them.
Uh, yeah, I have no idea who this is. Nicholas Galitzine?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
I think there's something about like in the idea of you where you're like the fact that the guy's unknown. Um, you're kind of like, why is like Anne Hathaway like with this guy, and also does the movie keep acting like Anne Hathaway's like old? Like the movie keeps like alluding to the fact that Anne Hathaway's old. It's like, no, Anne Hathaway's like 39 or 40 or something like that, and still like one of the most beautiful women there ever was. So it's like, why are we acting like I
Yeah, when I
don't
just
know.
looked at the picture of them, like they look the same age. Like it doesn't look like some weird relationship. They
Yeah,
both look
the
like attractive
yeah.
people like around 30 or so. Yeah,
Yeah, the whole
between
point
30
is
and
that
40.
like the whole point of the movie is like it's like, oh, it's the mom with the with the star, and
Weird. Yeah.
yeah, it's bizarre. And but I think Nicole is fairly is older than Anne by a good amount, like at least maybe has like 10 years on Anne Hathaway or
Yeah.
so. So I think it's more like she just fits better in like the older one role, even though Nicole Kidman, everyone know, you know, every day someone's talking about how Nicole Kidman age is like wine, and but like still like she's shows like age, and
Maturity.
actually
Yeah.
has age because she's older, unlike Anne Hathaway's not old yet. She's
Yeah.
not old yet. um so yeah, I think tonally idea of you is a little more like indie rom-com, or like kind of more along the lines of a serious movie, when uh A Family Affair is more like studio comedy. And while they're both not that good, I think I prefer A Family Affair.
Hmm.
um for sure. But they both are worth watching, and they're both like charming. um and I'll say this too. If you're that as deep into your bender as me when you start A Family Affair, and then you decide to pull out the crown jewel of all fine spirits, which I did, which is, yeah, of course, John, tequila. Um, Jose Cuervo Silver, because as this whole bender, not only along with being the best of the best films, it was the best of the best spirits. So I drank Jose Cuervo Silver, um with lime, and then I did the salt rim, uh
Ooh.
because I know how to do that. I'm the one to throw the party.
Wow. Yeah. This guy knows how to party. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This is how I am, just by myself at home. Imagine if I have people around, you
Wow.
know.
Yeah.
But anyways, so if you're drinking Jose Cuervo Silver with some lime and some salt rim, you know, and you're watching A Family Affair, you will really enjoy it, like I did. And I'd recommend checking it out.
Okay. Yeah.
on your next movie bender.
Pair a little family affair with Jose Cuervo. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my movie bender on July 2nd. I guess one more thing, movie I want to bring up just because I think it was brought up on a past I think it was on scores and soundtracks. I think you brought it up. But I watched Charade
Oh,
as
nice.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really good. And
I love charade. Yeah.
yeah. Unfortunately, I watched it with like it was either on Amazon Prime or on Tubi, and the quality
Mm.
for classic films are terrible, but I still just went with it. It's a very like entertaining, good script, and
Yeah.
Charade's good.
That
Old
that's one
Cary
of the ones
Grant.
that was probably the first like Criterion movie I got was Charade. Um, because yeah, I love the art style of that too, and like
Yeah, like
the
the intro, the opening credits intro is
opening
really cool, and the
credits.
music's
Yeah.
really good. Um, and just like especially on a first viewing, what makes it so interesting is you never really know what's going on until the
Yeah.
end. And that's like, and then it ends and it's just kind of like perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really just like fun, entertaining movie with a lot of like twists. Um, yeah, yeah, the ending's really satisfying too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I actually happened to rewatch Sunset Boulevard as well, and it's kind of made me just want to go down this like another hole of classic Hollywood films because when you watch like the great ones, you're like, fuck, man, they're all so like good and perfect, and like it's kind of really what you miss and want, and it just makes me want to go on a bender with those. And boy, if boy, though, John, my liver better watch out if I go down a classic Hollywood bender because I would
Oh
drink even
yeah.
more heavily to pay homage to these actors who were probably just so shit-faced as they're making these movies.
Yeah, who knows what their livers looked like, but that
Yeah.
would really destroy you if you stayed true to your bender.
Back like in the day, it was probably like, oh, you like went to the grocery store to run an errand, you get back, you're like, oh, please have a scotch. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. They just yeah, they it's just like a thing that you just always have like scotch and a cigarette.
yeah.
Um,
Hi, welcome to the meeting. Scotch.
yeah. Would you like scotch? Yeah. Would you like a drink? And then yeah, like would you like a drink? Or nowadays it's like water or
Or
coffee or
coffee or
tea.
something like that.
Now it's
Yeah.
like, well, yeah, do you want scotch, whiskey, you know?
They
Yeah.
really make you think that it's like on they'll like they'll like change your perception of alcohol to be like, "Oh like liquor is on the level of like water and coffee, tea and
Yeah.
like just it's just like a refreshment, you know?"
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's not poison
A
that you're
reception
putting into your
it's a
body.
refreshment that makes you feel great, you know?
Yeah.
So it's even better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's there's certain things like that that like Europe is still kind of in that
Yeah.
phase. Like everybody smokes and and drinks probably more so than we do here. I don't know.
Yeah, which is kind of
Some
which is
places.
for Europe is cool because they're like living in their own reality there, and then you'll
Hmm.
like you'll watch like because I've never been to Europe, so I can't go off of anything but this. But you'll watch Bourdain go there, and he'll like be in some like the country of Georgia where they just like drink like religiously, and you're like, oh, that's their you know, it's okay because that's their culture.
Yeah,
Who
it's a
care
cultural thing.
who
Yeah.
cares if it kills them like 50 years earlier? Life, that's what life is about, is to drink this
Yeah.
heavily, you know?
Yeah, it's just a part of it's just what you do. So it's a normal thing that they'll have guys dying in middle age from liver failure because they just drink vodka every single day
Yeah.
as just like a yeah, a routine thing.
Yeah. In America, we don't have like culture around drinking as much like to like justify it, so we just kind of are like we're like, oh, that's bad,
Yeah.
or like if you do it that much, like,
Now it's like coping for all of our mental illnesses that we all have in this
right,
country.
right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of mental illness, um, I went to see A Quiet Place day one. And usually at the theaters, I'm very like I'm a very strict person, and I'm like no talking in my theater. I really want to like get up and like have a scream out at people. Like I've always been tempted to do it. I never do, but you know, maybe one day. But if I'm not into the movie and I'm with my girl, and usually if my girlfriend picks the movie, I'm not that into. I'm not. So I will relentlessly whisper and talk during the movie. Now, I know some people like A Quiet Place Day One, but having never seen the first two, and also I would say arguably A Quiet Place Day One is okay at best. I could not stop. I could not keep my yapper shut during A Quiet Place Day One. And that is
You're not making it a quiet place
the
there.
very thing you're not supposed to do, right? I could not stop whispering to my girlfriend about where we're gonna eat after this movie. So I couldn't tell if that was an internet black.
Oh,
you,
you thought
you
I
just seem
froze.
so, you just seem so frozen. But
I'm just intently listening. Yeah.
yes. So here's what was going down. Not in A Quiet Place day one, but for me. And actually, I can compare this a little to the movie for those who are interested in the actual movie of what I saw. But I really wanted pizza, you know, because it'd been a long week and I don't think I had had pizza once yet.
Wow.
Yeah, I
That is a
know.
long week.
I know. And actually, the main character in A Quiet Place Day One wants to go have the pizza in Brooklyn. Uh, that she want she just wants it to remind her of the times before this all began,
Hmm.
of all these monster creatures going around that you can't talk during. As a podcaster, I would not be able to survive this quiet place.
Yeah, you got to be talking. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wait,
So but
is day one, so a Quiet Place day one, so that's like the beginning of it? This is
yeah,
like a
yeah.
prequel
It
kind
kind
of.
yeah, so there's like yes, and I can't compare them to the first ones because I haven't seen them, but I do believe there's less people in those movies. Like, isn't it just the family on the
Yeah.
living together, right? This actually there's like a fair amount of people, so there's a lot more like room for error. Like they'll always see someone and he'll be like, and they'll be like, shh, you know,
Yeah.
how could I not be just completely engaged in nothing but that the whole movie? Also, it's a theme park ride movie where the best scenes are in the trailer, like where they come down from the glass, the monsters, and it looks kind of cool and theme park ridey. That's all in the trailer. So it's like there's nothing, I don't know, for me that was that like I got to get invested in that. I mainly just wanted to go to the movies. So I did that.
Fair. Yeah.
But I was, a little hungry and I wanted pizza and so I'm whispering to my girlfriend, try, robly annoying the shit out of the people around me. I was like, what kind of pizza do you want? I was like, I was like, I think we should get Domino's. And she's like, Domino's is terrible pizza. I'm like, I know, but that's all I can afford is Domino's. And they have that 2 for 20 deal at the Domino's and it's perfect,
Dang. Yeah.
right? But she wanted good pizza. It was kind of like that Office episode, Pizza by Alfredo's or Alfredo's Pizza Cafe. I wanted pizza by Alfredo's. She wanted Alfredo's Pizza Cafe. So we ended up having Alfredo's Pizza Cafe, the good pizza. Um, and so we went to Pizza Wagon of Brooklyn, which is not in Brooklyn. It's in Sherman Oaks. Los Angeles. But it's a Brooklyn style
It's a
pizza joint.
Brooklyn joint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I felt it. I felt the New Yorker in me came out. And I was full, John, I was folding the slices and I was sticking them
Oh
in my mouth,
yeah.
because
Getting
it's
that
not real.
grease.
That's the
Yeah.
real yeah, exactly. It's the real pizza, as if you can fold the slices. Uh,
If you
but
can't fold the slices, it's not real pizza.
yeah, you feel the crunch and stuff. You got to
Yeah.
have the reheat crunch. But yeah, Pizza Wagon of Brooklyn, I will say, is one of the top pizza joints in the
Nice.
in the area for me now. Man, it's fucking good. Um is there anything else I was gonna say more than that? There's something here I will say um about like people who are like Chicagoans are probably being one, obviously our pizza is pretty good, right? Like we have like a lot of good pizza things going on.
Hmm.
We have the mainstream deep dish. We have the less mainstream deep dish, which is actually the really good deep dish. Uh, we have the pub style, like where we
Tavern
cut it
style,
into the
yeah.
little squares. We have the Rosatis of the world. I mean, boy, do I miss the Rosatis. Everything is so thick and big and good. Uh, but I feel like Chicago, like pizza people are like the most closed off. Like they don't believe there's good pizza anywhere else, and that is just simply not true, at all.
Yeah, I feel two different ways about this because I think I've seen like a narrative now about how terrible Chicago pizza is, just from the terms of like Jon Stewart doing that whole rant about how it's casserole and not pizza or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah,
And I feel like they're two different things. And of course, when Chicagoans, if you're just like getting a pizza, like a just, hey, let's get a pizza tonight. And you're in Chicago, you're probably just going to get like a thin crust tavern style. But for maybe more of an occasion or you have people visiting, you'll go get a deep dish. And a deep dish is still so delicious. But
yeah,
but you can't, it's like you got to wait a while and you can't
yeah,
have more than just one or two slices. So that's where I think when people talk shit about Chicago pizza is because it's a little bit different, but that's also what makes it good.
yeah. And I
But
think
yeah, then there are
people
Chicago people
build
that
it
are a
up
little
to this
blinded.
like touristy event in
Yeah.
their mind, and that like when you are just eating pizza, when it's built up as this like touristy event. I remember going to New York and having pizza for the first time there as a kid and being like, like this is it. Like this is, because you build it up in your mind always. And I think that's the problem too. But
Yeah.
yeah, Chicagoans are like their way with pizza, the way they are with like Michael Jordan and the Bulls. Like they're like very close-minded. They're like, I don't need to watch basketball nowadays. I watch Jordan. It's like it doesn't mean that there's not other basketball being played that you can also enjoy, you know?
Yeah. It's
And
like
I'm
the
all
whole that yeah, just the whole living in the past, like everything was better then or something, it's
yeah.
or whatever I know is good enough. Like this is like Chicago pizza, this is all there is. This is what I need. So
Yeah.
not accepting that other pizzas can also be good, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I feel. You nailed it on the head. Actually, when I go home, I grow very tiresome of, like I hate it when people do the lose Giordano's argument. I find that very tiresome. Uh, and when people are like just so religious to lose or Giordano's, and um, I'm like, okay, guys, like you realize it's also like these are giant chains now
Yeah.
as well. So it's not as special as like say when there was the first lose ever that opened up on the north side. Um,
I mean, Giordano's are everywhere now.
Yeah,
Like,
Giordano's is there's one in Los Angeles.
yeah,
There's a
there
Gino's
was one
East in Los
here.
Angeles. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah.
But you know, we actually got there's a place here. It's there was just like one or two in Denver, and we just got one out in the town that I live in. That's Detroit style pizza.
Yeah, now that is
I guess
good.
that's like yeah, that's an underrated style.
I
Uh
think Detroit style pizza is actually more of a crowd pleaser than Chicago pizza.
yeah,
In
it's
terms
like
of like if you're trying to like universally bring people together from it, when Chicago is more like niche and like
mhm.
you gotta like have a more of an open mind. Detroit style's like, yeah, there's Detroit style out here too, which is like really good. In LA, every pizza place is trying to be a like New York style. Like New York, they're literally called like New York style pizza. And then there's
Yeah.
like New York style bagels and there's New York
Yeah.
style like like Jewish delis and stuff. And you're like, huh, why don't we just go to New York?
It's probably trying to appeal to all the New Yorkers that move there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like there's a Joe's Pizza not too
Oh.
far from me, and they call it like Joe's Original, the famous Joe's Pizza. Um, so yeah. I got that and Pizza Wagon of Brooklyn. Um,
Nice.
but if you want to see a quiet place day one, um, I will say for me, in my opinion, it will inspire great conversation in you. Uh, and not make you want to be in a quiet place.
Wow. All right,
So
it's a
to
very
me, the movie,
contemplative
so to me, the
movie.
movie's a fail. Yeah. So to me, the movie's a failure. Okay, all right, should we move on to the Monkey Man
Oh yeah,
Revenge?
Monkey Man. Yeah. Uh and
Is
Monkey
it like
Man.
Homer? Is it like Homer Simpson? Monkey, Monkey Man.
Yeah.
I want to be a monkey man.
It's funny, there's a scene in Monkey Man. So Monkey Man, Dev Patel, he's getting revenge for uh this man who rapes and murders his mother. And he goes through these like seemingly like underground fighting rings to, like train and build up strength and his fighting ability. And there's a point where he wears his monkey mask and everybody starts chanting, "Monkey Man, Monkey Man." And I was just thinking like how weird, like picture yourself as like an extra in this movie, and the director's like, "All right, guys, like we need everybody to we're gonna in the crowd, we're gonna be chanting Monkey Man, Monkey." You'd be
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is
Sounds
this?
like the most
Like,
fun day ever. Yeah.
yeah, like
I
this
got
is so
50,
weird.
I got paid $50 in
Yeah.
Crafty to chant Monkey Man. I don't even know
Yeah.
what the
I'm an
production was.
extra in this like big movie with Dev Patel, and
Yeah.
we're all just in the crowd chanting Monkey Man. Like it seems so silly if you're just there on set. But yeah, Monkey Man, I remember seeing the trailer for this in theaters and like, wow, this is like sick. It's everyone, of course, I think it's all the comparisons to John Wick. This is like Dev Patel doing John Wick, and it's his directorial debut, and it's produced by Jordan Peele. So
Mm.
um, I think there's a lot of hype to it. It seemed like the trailer made it
Oh,
seem so
that's what this.
stylish and
Okay, I saw
awesome.
this a while ago. I just forgot.
Hmm.
Okay.
And yeah, I think like Maxine, the trailer really, pumps you up for it, and it becomes a little underwhelming. And I still liked Monkey Man and Maxine. I really enjoyed both movies, but Monkey Man has this weird pace to it where it's really like exciting and like things seems like it's like building up to this. And then after that, there's a long stretch where it's kind of calm and not too much is happening, and it's a little more like meditative. And it was so kind of drastic to me that I also watched this when I was sick, so maybe there's a caveat to that, but that I was just like sort of drifting off a little bit, like losing interest when it would go from like these, fight scenes to then now he's like in the jungle and he's just talking to this guy and it's very like philosophical and everything. And um
Yeah, you
so
wanted
yeah,
just the fun, cheesy stuff.
yeah. It was like, where John Wick is like all out
Yeah.
action like that. This was trying to be like that, but also have this like mythical,
Mm.
meditative aspect to it. Almost like The Northman too. Actually, yeah, The Northman is probably a good
Wow.
comparison too. But I think The Northman pulled off, at least in my eyes, pulled off like the
The
mythical
mythology
stuff
side better.
better because it was like because Monkey Man at the end of the day is in like the real world, but there's some surreal stuff thrown
Mhm.
in there. But the Northman is mythical, and John Wick is like a video game
Yeah.
movie. Uh,
Yeah.
you know. Um, so anyway, it wasn't bad, but I just felt like it wasn't really keeping my interest the whole time. But there were aspects of it that I liked. I would have liked a little bit more, like going all out with this like Monkey Man fight action movie that was sort of presented. Um, and yeah, but I would say it's still like a solid like directorial debut for Dev Patel.
Mm.
So yeah, it was cool.
Nice.
But so I was thinking, I haven't really taken like revenge on any of my enemies and I was thinking maybe I should figure out how I can get back at my enemies more. So I don't know if you have any revenge stories, Luke, or any sort of
Uh,
how, if you have ideas of how you would get back at your enemies.
so I don't have any ideas, but I have like a couple, like I've always had these like people where I was like, I wish I had like these this like revenge. I had taken revenge, kind of like you're saying.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, there's a couple people who come to mind. First, there was like a guy in football when I was a kid that I remember he like stepped on my cleats, just directly. Like he had his football cleats, he stepped on the top of mine with the bottom of his, and it hurt my foot for like a couple months. And he was doing it just to be a dick, like because he was an asshole. And I was like, I always was like, I just hated him because of that, like it was like I was in eighth grade. So yeah, that's a guy I always wanted to get revenge on. Um, Also, I don't know if you remember, but like I don't know if you remember this, but I remember I started like I tried to start a snow shoveling business in
That sounds familiar.
high
Yeah.
school. I called it Prestige Worldwide from Step Brothers.
Yeah.
And I actually like I made flyers and I posted it all around my neighborhood. And like I like ended up I got a client, for this one house down the street. And so me and Jake, also of the Cinebums, went over to go shovel this driveway. And as we're shoveling the driveway, we're like talking and like joking around. These people are out of town, 'cause because we're in high school. Um, and then this like woman comes like across the street and just starts like yelling at us for like talking and like while we're shoveling the driveway, and um also saying something that like she was like, I'm not gonna let you guys do this, because she said like someone else like shoveled the driveway earlier. But when we got there, there was snow on the driveway and ice. So we like, we got to work, right? Because we're me, I'm all business. And
Yeah, your business. Yeah.
yeah, business. But like, yeah, so she's like telling us that we're like, I don't know, acting like we're, and remind you, we're kids. She's acting like we're like ripping this people off or taking advantage, when she's like she said some like old man like already, you know, shoveled it for them earlier. And she's like, didn't you see that there's like not like, that it's been done already? And I'm like, what? I don't know. What are you talking about? We're shoveling snow right now. Like, and so and she was like really rude about it. She was like, she said something like, she's like, now you've done nothing, nothing. And I remember just being like so confused and angry at this woman, uh, for coming over and like speaking to me and Jake like that. And so then we left and we told our parents, and I think like my dad like called the house because it's in like the directory of the neighborhood. Uh, and my dad got in like a argument, then argued with her. He's like, "Why did you do that?" And he's like, "They were like talking while they're shoveling the driveway." Like, who cares if they're talking? And then she like she told the neighbors about it, that who hired us to shovel the driveway, and for some reason they like sided with her, and like when he called me, like was kind of like, didn't you know that like the guy did it earlier? And it was just the most confusing thing ever. um
What?
yeah, and like I remember feeling like the guy made me feel guilty and was like, don't worry, we'll like pay you anyways or something like that. But like, it was clear it was like the last time that he didn't trust me now. And it was really bizarre. And it was all because of this like woman. And so I remember always wanting like revenge on this woman. Uh and I remember just I wanted to egg the house. And I think
Mm.
there's a chance I might have egged it. I don't remember. But
Man,
yeah,
yeah.
those are like my top two, I think, revenge people.
That actually that helped me think of some things too. Well, I know there's some times in college where my friends and I would be out to dinner somewhere, and just because we're like maybe a little bit louder and having fun, there'd be older people that be do like some passive aggressive things. I know that's bothered me.
Like
But
in Iowa.
yeah, in Iowa, yeah. Specifically one time, uh, we were at this Mexican restaurant on Cinco de Mayo, and my friend was just pushing his lime into his like Corona,
Yeah, yeah.
and when he did it, like it just shot lime. Like it was, I've never seen something like this. Like it shot lime like everywhere. Like it got on us and it got on this lady that was sitting behind us. And then next thing you know, she's just like saying all these things like just loud enough so we can hear it. And it got to a point where I just like I really do not do this. And I'm sure you'd be surprised to hear that I did it, but I said so. I was like, listen, lady, like he didn't do it on purpose. It got on us too. Like just let it go. Like stop, because she just kept talking
Yeah.
like, and it was just like annoying me. And and I
Yeah.
remember she was like, "Oh, I should get Ron down here." Like I'm guessing her husband to try and like teach us a lesson or something. And I was like, I was like, seriously, like let it go. It was an accident. And she's like, "Oh, sure, it was an accident." And I was like, "Yeah, just like your haircut." And that just like came out, and she had this like kind of like,
Oh, you said that?
I said that, and I
Wow.
don't do this stuff. I'm not like that guy. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
sound cool
You
or
had a good
anything.
line and you
I
broke it
knew,
out.
and I don't even, she had just had like a typical, like, kind of Karen-esque.
You had a Jack Nicholson five easy pieces moment. I want you to bring it between your knees.
Yeah, yeah. It just kind of came out of me, and I had a few drinks in me as well. This is like the only time I've had like a comeback like that. But this woman was still just like, I just knew she had a haircut that she cared about. Like she really cared. So I knew that that would get to her,
Dang, wow.
and was just like nonstop trying to ruin our good time because
Yeah.
she thought that my friend squirted his lime at her on purpose. It was like such a small thing.
It sounds like you got
Um,
her though to me.
I guess maybe I did. Yeah, maybe that was good.
Yeah.
And her
You
husband
wish
never
you
showed
like
up.
stomped on her like Sonny
Yeah,
Corleone, like even further as
yeah. It was like this old school Mexican place too that kind of looked like a mob hangout too. You know, I could have pulled that off.
All right, so we're almost coming to a close today on the Cinebums podcast. Um, but before we go, I have a little obsession, a little fantasy world obsession that I've wanted to share today with John. In the past few months, I've become a little. Sometimes, I become obsessed with certain films every now and then. And most recently, I've become obsessed with the movie Sideways by Alex Cox. It's not Alex Cox. Fuck.
Alex Payne. Payne.
Alexander Payne.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alexander Payne. Alex Alexander Cox meets the pain, brings the pain. Yeah. Yeah, so the Holdovers director and Election, Descendants. Um yeah, I actually in the month of May I watched Sideways twice. Because I love everything about it. I love how like Paul Giamatti is this unaccomplished, neurotic novelist who hasn't gotten anywhere. Um, and that he's picking up the fact that he's picking up his friend uh names, man. Sorry, I gotta get these names right for the movie I'm apparently obsessed with.
Yeah, you're upset.
He picks up Thomas Hayden Church and takes him out to wine country.
THD, THC.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, THC.
Well, yeah, he Thomas Hayden Church is getting married, so he takes him. Paul Giamatti picks him up and takes him out to wine country for his like bachelor weekend, and the two kind of share their, I don't know, kind of share their existential dread for like getting older out in wine country by uh as Paul Giamatti says, we're gonna drink some wine, we're gonna play some golf, we're gonna eat some food, but also, kind of getting in romantic entanglements with some women. Uh and so like I love like this movie for a number of reasons. Like I said, like I love the kind of male escapism thing. And also the fact that it's like, like this guy's getting married and he's not having like a party. He's just like has his like one friend, his like lonely friend who's they're going just the two of them to this like on this trip. And they're both like, I don't know, they're not like they're so used to being around each other, they're not even like that grateful to see each other. It's just like kind of they like, they're with, they need each other, they're there by circumstance. Um and also I love like I used to watch movies about just people in their 20s. Like I used to watch like Frances Ha because I'm like, oh, she's like someone in her late 20s who doesn't have her shit together. How relatable. Like I watched that over, I beat that whole thing over the head. Well, now I'm 30. So my new thing is people who are about to be 40 and don't have their shit together, which is what Sideways is about. It's so like I feel like it's the defining thing for people in their, who are about to be in their late 30s, about to be 40s. Like Paul Giamatti's had a divorce. Thomas Hayden Church is about to get married and isn't sure if he wants to. He's like wondering if he's doing it just to do it, for the sake of that. Um, and on top of that, like I love wine, John. I would never drink anything I listed during my movie bender, any of that. Part of the thing that reassures me that I'm not an alcoholic is that I won't drink just to drink anything. I find actually most alcohol pretty gross, and I'm not into most of it. And I'm actually like, for a very poor, broke guy, like I'm kind of a wine snob. Like I'll see like if a restaurant lays out its wine in a nice way to make it appealing, and I see certain names like um I don't know, I don't know, Angeline or Wente or like just very basic wine brands, I can like see through it. I'm not saying I'm like an expert, but I can tell when the wine is like basic or shit or no, just uh like I know how the target section of the wine aisle is like, I know the
Yeah.
box brands. I know that it's not like good, interesting stuff, quality. And so I love this wine fused escape journey. Um, in the wine country of Santa Barbara, which I've actually been to, and that's the reason why I first saw this movie. And I had a pretty good time there because it's a great escape area. And I love how Paul Giamatti is just like this crazy. He's such a wine snob, and that's like a hobby of his, and he's like lonely because of it. Um, and all the wine talk. Uh, so I guess that brings me to my main point, John, is I want to I want to do a sideways male 30s trip where it's to escape everything that is surrounding us now.
Wow.
Uh,
Yeah.
you know, and just drive up the coast of Southern California into Santa Barbara wine country and just taste wine up there and escape and dream about moving up there, even though we're not really ever going to do it. Um, yeah,
I think we should definitely do this.
yeah, and it'll be fueled by an acoustic guitar score, Spanish style, and we'll try all different sorts of varietals like Syrah and Grenache and Pinot Noir, and we'll pair it perfectly. We will have salmon with Pinot Noir and filet mignon with Cabernet, and we'll drink chilled white Chardonnay that ranges from buttery to oak, and
Oh,
yeah, and we will speak about it in a way that we really feel like we know what we're talking about and
we'll talk about the
appreciate it.
notes, all the
Yeah,
notes that we
right.
get from
Mhm.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we will sniff it for days.
Swirl it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll listen to we'll listen to good music, and it'll just be good vibes, and we won't want it to end because that's what summer is about. And I'm like missing it because I was thinking about this, like I was like, dude, you remember I remember when I was a kid, I would have like these it'd be like June or July, and it would be like I am usually, because of thanks to my parents who showed me a fun childhood and would plan these things. I would always have something to look forward to in the middle of summer, like,
Yeah.
oh, in July we're going to here again, and it's happening. Let's go, and it would always like meet the expectations of the how excited I would be. Like I wouldn't overly get excited. Like that was never a thing as a kid. You would get as excited as you want and it would meet that. As an adult, you can overly get excited and it's a big fucking letdown, Um really easily that could happen. So that's kind of what I'm missing, is those like old, like looking forward to things during summer. And so that's what I'm trying to create with the sideways Santa Barbara excursion.
It's we work hard too. It's about time we gave ourselves this sort of break to chill and talk about wine, drink some wine.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
I'm
and
in.
just look
Yeah.
forward to it like, we're kids. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if the Cinebums podcast ever takes wine country, and we'll let you know how that goes if we have our movie bender in wine country, which I actually did. I had some movie benders in wine country. It's a lot of fun.
Nice. Wow. Yeah. Did you just watch Sideways the whole time, or do you
No,
think?
I actually watched like I remember I watched Titanic.
For some reason, that seems like a good wine country movie.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know
yeah, yeah.
why. It does. Yeah.
But yeah, that's so yeah, that's that. And then yeah, that's another episode of the Cinebums podcast. And since it was requested, since John, I read John a poem last episode, and I think it worked because he kept texting me his feelings of gratitude in the days after. Um, you
Yeah.
know, they were nice texts. They weren't, necessarily the levels of poetry that I'm able to come up with, but they were nice. I
Did
appreciate
my best.
and I
Did
appreciate
my
it.
best. Yeah. Hmm.
Because as I said before, I love poetry and I love wine and I love New York style pizza in Sherman Oaks, California, more than anything. And so I wrote
You're just a
another
cultured
poem.
guy.
And
A man of the arts.
yeah, I know. And I wrote another poem today for John,
Oh,
the
I can't
guy,
wait.
who I do the Cinebums podcast with. All right. So remember again, listen to the words. All right. Listen to the words. My top three probably poets ever. I probably have three. Uh, Stanley Kubrick, because he's a visual poet.
Wow.
Um, yeah. Um, Marlon Brando, because he could just ad lib for days. I mean, Apocalypse Now, that is ad libbing. And boy, is it poetry. You're as he says there, you are a errand boy sent by grocery clerks to collect a bill.
Powerful
I
stuff.
mean that sticks with you, stuff like that. Yeah. And number 3, in terms of my favorite poets, um George Lucas for the first
Oh,
Star Wars. Um
wow. Yeah.
yeah. But specifically his work in the second Star Wars for um I do not like sand. It's coarse, rough, and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Ugh. I have that framed, just a print of that poem framed in my dining room. Yeah, that's really important one to me.
Yeah, right. And so this is my homage to the greats, such as like George Lucas. Okay. I am he as you are he, as you are me, and we are all together. See
Wow.
how they run. I am not done, John.
Oh, whoa,
Please.
I get too excited. Whoa.
See how they run like pigs from a gun. See how they fly. I'm crying. All right, now you can give me the praise that
Wow.
you're ready to give.
That was I'm speechless. I have no words. That was just I felt like a wave of emotions when you went through that. Yeah. I
Well, let me tell you, John, it's fine that you're speechless because, you know, the words are for me. I am the word guy of us both, which
yeah,
makes
you'll
it
take care of the
sometimes
words.
hard, I will admit, to do the podcast that we do being the word.
As I can imagine, it's a medium where you need to
Right.
speak, so it's you need to have words. So yeah, I always appreciate the words that you bring though. So it's
I appreciate the encouragement because, it motivates me to keep bringing these and sharing these on the air with you. And so I will keep doing that.
wow, well, yeah, I know the audience is forever grateful too. And that's why they tune in, is for the poetry, really, at the end. I think that is just the perfect encapsulation of this whole thing, of the Cinebums empire, And so yeah, wow. I'm gonna be thinking about that for the rest of the day. That's all. Yeah.
All right. Well, you heard it here, folks. That's just what you get, are these special moments that you won't get anywhere else but on the Cinebums podcast. Everyone have a great day. Have a Jack Daniels on the rocks. If you're watching a film such as Pumping Iron, or a tequila if you're watching a film such as A Family Affair on Netflix, now streaming. Or maybe you're watching A Quiet Place and you just want to have some Brooklyn style pizza in Sherman Oaks, California. Either way, it's you do what it is you want with your summer.